to the fairest space. Now, on the back of the imposition of 12% safeguard duty on steel imports, my colleague Abhhimanyu Sharma caught up with the Steel Secretary, Sandeep Poundrik, to understand the rationale and also what it means for MSMEs. He also said that, the industry is pretty well placed as now. Let's hear out what the Steel Secretary had to say.
So, as you know, that government has to take a balanced view of the economy. Now, there are various sectors. Steel, as you know, is mostly used as a raw material and not as an end product. So, government has to ensure that the prices of end products also don't rise too much. But at the same time, since India is growing and the consumption of steel is growing a lot, we need to augment our steel capacity. And to ensure that, we have to ensure that steel industry in the country has remunerative prices. We also have to keep in mind that about 45% of the steel capacity in the country belongs to secondary steel sector, which are all small units. So it's not that only big players are producing steel. So taking all of that into account, there was a quasi-judicial process conducted by DGTR. DGTR has recommended 12% provisionally, and government has accepted that for a period of 200 days. And then in the meanwhile, DGTR will finalize its findings and give its recommendations. Then government will take appropriate decision again. As far as MSMEs are concerned, the steel players or steel industry has already offered that they will give steel to MSMEs for export and for other purpose also if they come into certain criteria at export parity prices. So we are trying to also ensure that MSMEs are not impacted by this any price rise.
While FTA review is a continuous process and the Ministry of Commerce and Industry is already undergoing that with several countries, and we understand the Steel Ministry has also given its set of recommendations. We also understand several DGTR probes are also underway with respect to complaints against several countries. What measures can we look at with respect to preventing dumping from several countries which have excess capacities, and also their supply has increased in the recent times due to lack of demand in the developed Western countries?
So basically, apart from safeguard duty, certain investigations are being undertaken by DGTR for dumping. So there are some applications have been filed with DGTR for anti-dumping investigations. DGTR has finalized, concluded its hearings in some cases. They will give its recommendations, he will give its recommendations, and government will take decision. We are also trying to ensure that whatever steel is imported, it adheres to BIS standards. So that's because we do not want that substandard steel or low quality steel is imported into the country at low cost, which will harm the domestic industry. So we are trying to bring most of the steel grades into BIS standards. So that only quality steel, even if it is imported, only quality steel comes. So there are various measures which the government is taking to ensure that domestic steel industry is not harmed by low-cost dumping of steel.
While on the same lines, we also spoke to Mr. Amarendu Prakash, who's the chairman of SAIL, and asked him if the safeguard duty relief was enough. He also discussed